Hello guys, my name is Andres and I would like to help you for question number 3. Let's start off by reading the question. It says to develop a multiple linear regression model to predict quarterly sales using annual income and family size as independent variables. It says to include the regression output on this sheet, set output range to C28. Okay, to start off, let's see what would be our independent variables and our dependent variables. So our independent would be x. If you go back to algebra, x is independent and y is dependent. So x, which is the independent variables, would be annual income and family size, right? And our dependent variables, which makes it y, will be the quarterly sales. So let's start off with looking for our quarterly sales, our dependent variable. We'll go to our chart, go to our data, we go to the table, and we would get our quarterly sales, which is right here. This would be our dependent variable, meaning it would be the y. So we would copy this and come over here, and since this is the only dependent, it would be the first column we put here, quarterly sales. That would be our dependent variable. Then we would get the annual income and the family size, which is our independent variable, meaning it's the x, and we will get it from this table right here. Okay, so since we just did that, basically we would have to, it says to develop a regression model. For that, we would have to go to data, and then we would click on the data analysis, and we would click here on regression, since it's asking for a regression table. Okay, we click OK. Actually, before anything, let's go here. Yes, so we would go to the data analysis and click regression, right? We go OK. So it's asking for the input, the y range, meaning the y range is what I said was the dependent variable. Our dependent variable is the y-axis, which is the quarterly sales. Okay, so it's right here, quarterly sales, and then our x range would be our independent variables, which is our annual income and our family size, as you can see right here. So one small tip that I recommend is to look at your confidence level. So confidence level and the significance level go hand in hand. If they both have to equal 100%. So let's say if our significance level would be 5%, that means that confidence would be 95. Let's say our significance level is 1%, that means that our confidence level would have to be 99. So we put 95 and we put a check mark there. So our output range could be let's put here B54. Okay, yes, just put B54 and we'll click OK. So there you go. That gives us our regression model right here. I already have it here, but I just showed you guys how to do it. So now it asks basically what is the value of the intercept of the regression equation. That would come, you would come over here, down here it would say actually the intercept, the coefficient, the intercept, it would be this 641. So we'll just copy that and put it here, just equals D44. Then it says what is the estimated regression coefficient for annual income, right? So we would click here and we would look for it over here. So annual income, it would be right here, coefficient annual income 0.108. As you can see there, we put 0.108. Then it says what is that estimated regression coefficient for the family size. In the same table, family size 928, right? Now it says what is the correlation between the annual income and the quarterly sales, right? So for that we would put what the command, the tool that is called, the function is called Correl. As you can see, it says correlation, so we would use Correl. It's not, if you keep on writing the full word, you're not gonna find it. You have to leave it at the Correl. We'll click here and array means basically columns, chart. So we would look for our, so it says annual income and quarterly sales. So our quarterly sales is right here, right? So we'll click here, Command Shift down, then comma. That's our quarterly sales, and then it says annual income. Annual income would be right here, Command Shift down, and enter. So there you go. We got 0.536, and then for the correlation between the family size and the quarterly sales, since we already worked it out here, for the family size, which is the same, then we would do the same thing. So we would go equals same function, which is the Corel. Remember, you finish at the L. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah. You go Corel, and you click Tab. And then you go once again to the quarterly sales, Command Shift down, comma, and now we would go to the family size, Command Shift down. Oh, that is my bad, guys. Oh my, what did I do? Already says it's Command Shift down. Oh no. There you go. I'm so sorry for the complication. So we click enter, and it gives us 0.317. Right? Then it says what? Well, then it says what proportion of variability in quarterly sales is explained by the regression model. Right? So you basically can find that right here on D32. So the R square. So it does not say what is the proportion of variability, but now you guys know that R squared, that's what it stands for. So 0.402. So we would put that in here. And then it says, what is the standard error of the regression, right? The standard error of the regression is shown right here on the regression statistics. Standard error is 4,527.343. So we would put this here, okay? It says, what is the predicted quarterly sales for a customer that has annual income of 74,067 and family size 5? So what we do there is basically look for our intercept, which is 641. We would put equals our intercept plus wait, sorry guys. Okay, equals the intercept right here plus parentheses, and then it's looking for a that has an annual income. So we'll click on the annual, we'll actually put it by hand. We'll put 74,067 times the coefficient of the annual income, which is this, D45. Then we close the parentheses and add, once again, the family size of 5 times the coefficient of family size, which is the 928. We close the parentheses and we click enter. That would be our predicted quarterly sales for a customer that has annual income of 74,067 and family size of 5. Now, it says, what is the residual for the customer in the previous question if his or her quarterly sales is 11,929? So we already have that specific customer's information right here on this formula. So basically we would just use the it says 11,929. So we would just subtract the 929 minus the predicted quarterly sales for that specific customer. So we click enter, and that gives us, so it says here that it's a predicted quarterly sales, right? So it means it's not exact. Now this would be so as you can see, we were off. The estimation, the prediction was off by 1,357. Obviously, the lower this number is, the closer, the more exact the prediction was, as you can see, right? So to determine the p-value and conclusion for the coefficient of annual income using significance level 5%, we would just go to our table, right? And we would look for the p-value. P-value for annual income would be this. It's there's a scientific formula behind it since it's such a small number. So it uses quotations and stuff. So we would just copy this and paste it right here. As you can see, it says G45 and the numeric value would be 000. So in conclusion, our annual income is a significant predictor of quarterly sales. Obviously, the quarterly sales is not a significant predictor of annual income, and annual income is a significant predictor of the quarterly sales. Now for the p-value, but for the family size, it's in the same chart. We'll go right here. As you can see, it's this. So we would copy this. This is G46, and then we'll put it right here, G46. So the family size is a significant predictor of the quarterly sales. All right, so this is basically how you're able to create a regression model with our data analysis tool. So hopefully that helps you out, guys. No problem. And now going to question number 4. Okay, I don't really, and we would